Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to chat with you guys about how my Hungarian grandparents saved money. Let's get started and talk about it. I know I've mentioned several times that my father is Hungarian. And so he grew up speaking German and Hungarian and English, but his parents really didn't speak a lot of English. I remember because my grandfather lived with us growing up. So they had some different ways that they saved money. That's what I'm going to chat with you guys about today. They lived in St. Paul, Minnesota. So I will share that first. And they moved from Hungary to the United States. So they moved to St. Paul, and many of the other neighbors were also Hungarian. Okay, one of the first things they did was they actually butchered meat in their cellar. I don't know a lot about that. My dad doesn't really remember. And my dad was one of the youngest. So I actually called my Aunt Lucy. She told me a few other little things that they did, which is what I added to the list. But they did butcher meat in the cellar. So that obviously did save them some money. Number two, my grandmother, she took in mending and ironing from other people. And so she made money on the side doing that. So that was one way that she earned some money while her husband was at work. My grandfather was a boxer, a professional boxer, but then later on he worked at Ham's Brewery. So he did that. Okay, number three, as some of the kids got older, there were 9 kids in the family. There were 6 boys and 3 girls. And it's funny because my father told me that my grandmother said, I'd take 10 boys for every 1 girl. She said boys were way easier to raise. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. But they took in boarders to help earn some extra money. So they were always looking for ways to make money back then too. And they did have indoor plumbing. My mother grew up on a farm and didn't have indoor plumbing. I thought you'd find that interesting. And I do have to share a little tidbit. My father, because they lived in the city, they had indoor plumbing. My mother didn't. They had to use an outhouse. And she told me they had to use catalog, for toilet paper. And she said she used to get little paper cuts on her posterior. I thought that sounds really frustrating. But anyway, so basically that's how my grandparents did save some money, is by taking in boarders. Number 4, they also had my great-grandmother Anna living with them. My great-grandfather had passed away at this time, and they had other relatives living with them too. A couple of my grandmother's sisters lived with them, so they saved money by all sharing expenses. One of the other things that my father told me that they did to save money is, let's say that they might have breakfast for dinner. Let's say that they had oatmeal for dinner and they had leftovers. Well, my grandmother would get up the next morning and fry up that oatmeal and oatmeal patties, and you'd have that, or you might take it along, as a snack, something of that nature. They also had a great big huge table, and she would roll out flour, okay, which would be more of an inexpensive thing, and then stuff it with vegetables and all different kinds of things, and then brown or fry those up, and you'd kind of have all different kinds of strudel type stuff. They also ate a lot of cabbage and, stuffed cabbage, things like that, which was fairly frugal. And they might just use a little bit of meat. So they used every single thing they had. Nothing went to waste. Okay, the other huge thing that they did is they did not own a car. They walked everywhere, because in downtown St. Paul, whatever they needed, they could walk to. My grandfather walked to work every day, okay? So that was something that he did. Also, another thing that was really different is, many times people, when they get a gift, they get a new gift. Well, what my grandmother would do is, like, let's say my oldest, the oldest boy, his name was, Joseph, but he went by Joe or Joey. And what they would do is take some of his shirts and mend them, patch them up, and make them really nice, and then give that as a gift to one of the younger boys. So that's kind of how they save money, is they would mend everything up and make it look nice and give the hand-me-downs as a gift. So that's another way that they did that. Another thing is, and this one we've heard before, is they would bathe once a week and share the bath water. I honestly, that seems so difficult because I have the luxury of taking a shower every day. I do wash my hair every other day, but I kind of wonder, how could people go once a week and wash their hair? If I did that, my hair would look really oily. Now I could go like 3 days maybe 4, but I'll be honest, after the 4th day, you can tell that my hair needs washing. I think how they must have done that is maybe they pulled it all up or used tons of hairspray or something. I'm not really sure. But these are just some of the ways that I know that my Hungarian grandparents saved money. It's kind of fun to look at the past and feel nostalgic and see what people did back then. And are we doing any of these things now? So let me know what you guys think. Do any of you have grandparents that weren't raised in the United States, maybe from another country, that came over here with barely anything and had to make a life and had to learn ways of making money and saving money? If so, share some of those ideas in the comments below. That's all I have to say for now. I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope to see you on tomorrow morning's video. Bye-bye.